Hello students, welcome back to Plus 2 Economics YouTube channel. Like all of you are aware that there are 5 parts. We have already discussed the different sections of the question paper and you have understood by now that part D carries 6 mark questions. And this is one of the most important mains because there are 4 questions to be answered, 24 marks to be scored. One of the most common concerns that students have is how to make sure that we get 6 out of 6. Now, if you even lose 1 mark per question, so you'll be losing 4 marks very easily. That shouldn't be the case. And our idea is not that. Our idea is to score 100 on 100. So we should get 6 on 6 in all 4 questions. So in this video, I will be sharing certain important points which you have to follow when you answer the 6 mark questions. If you follow this, I'm pretty sure that you will get 6 out of 6. Come, let us see the important points that you have to remember while answering the part D of your question paper. How to score 6 on 6 in essay type question. This is one of the most common questions that second PUC students ask. So in this video, let us try to understand how to score 6 on 6. Let's start with the first slide. So 6 mark questions are asked in part D of the question paper. Like all of you are aware, there are 5 parts in the question paper: A, B, C, D and E. And we have already done a detailed video explaining the question paper pattern to you. The link of the question paper pattern video is in the description. You can click on that link and you can understand the entire pattern. Anyway, so here the focus is on part D. So 6 mark questions are asked in part D and it is to be answered in 20 sentences. Please remember. So this is an essay type question. So there are a lot of things to be written. Total marks allotted to this main is 24. In total, 7 questions will be asked in part D for us. And out of that, we should answer 4. So 6 marks questions, 4 questions to be answered. So it makes 24. So number of extra questions will be 3. It means that out of 7 questions, we should answer 4 of them and we can leave out 3 questions. That is what is to be understood by us even before we attempt part D. How to select the 4 questions? Out of the 7 questions in part D, 3 questions will be from one part and 4 questions will be from other part. As all of you are aware, there are 2 parts in second PUC economics, right? So this is part 1 for us, this is part 2 for us, micro and macroeconomics. There are 2 model question papers which are already released by the board, and the video's description about the model question papers is also put in the description. Please click on the link and try to know more about the model question papers. So when we go through the model question paper, we understand that there will be 3 questions. If there are 3 questions from microeconomics, there will be 4 questions from macroeconomics, or vice versa. If there are 4 questions from microeconomics, there will be 3 questions from macroeconomics. So we need to answer in total 4. So this is what we are supposed to do. So how do we select the right kind of questions? That is something which we have to understand and which we should be clear about. See, please make sure that you are clear about what exactly you are looking from this main. Our objective is select 4 questions, answer them extremely well and get 6 marks for all the questions that you answer and make sure that you get 24 marks. That is very important. So let us see the things that we have to remember. Select those questions where there is a definite boundary. For example, write a note on the calculation of GDP. If this is a question asked, this is a very vast question. For the simple reason, there are 3 methods using which we can calculate GDP. There is something called the product method, there is something called expenditure method, and there is something called income method. So this question is asking us to explain all the 3 methods. It might not be there, but just giving an example. So this has a very vast boundary to cover, and there are chances where you may end up leaving out 1 or 2 points and you may lose marks. So don't select questions which doesn't come with a clear-cut boundary. Please be very clear that you select only those questions where the boundary is well defined. Example, filling up of the schedules. See something like this. Say for example, you are given something like this. say this is number of units, this is the price. You are asked to calculate TR, you are asked to calculate AR. So this is a very simple question to answer, and it has a very definite boundary. You answer, you fill 5-6 blanks here, or you come out with this kind of a schedule, you are given full marks. So select those questions where there are some problems, right, or where you are asked to fill up some tables. Functions of RBI. There is a very clear-cut answer which says that these are the functions of RBI. Cover those heads without leaving any head, you will get good marks. Functions of money. Very clear, very well-defined question, and there is a very well-defined answer for it. Type of short-term costs. Again here, you know which are the different types of costs, and you just have to write the answer for that. Diminishing marginal utility. Again, a very, very important question from chapter number 2, microeconomics. Again, very well defined. It can be answered. So select those questions which comes with a clear-cut boundary. Don't select something which is very vast, which is impossible for you to cover everything. These are the things to be remembered. Now, how do you answer? What should your answer contain? Like I told you, this is an essay type answer. So give an introduction. If you're talking about diminishing marginal utility, if you're talking about RBI, tell what is RBI, when was it established, by what act RBI was established, where has it got its headquarters. So write certain general information about RBI first and then come to the functions. Give an introduction. Then there should be a body. Write all the points, cover important points and sub-points. Then come to the conclusion. So remember to have these 3 parts in your answer. This is very important. Next, if you're talking about something like the variable proportion, law of variable proportion, or the diminishing marginal utility, remember to write the assumptions. That is very important. In the introductory part itself, we can talk about the assumption. Draw the schedules and the graphs. That is, the tables and graphs are very, very important. Draw them legibly at the center of the sheet so that you get the attention of the evaluator. Give relevant examples, especially when you're talking about utility or diminishing marginal utility, or if you're talking about inflation, something like that. Give relevant examples. Then also try to give the application and limitations. If you're talking about, say, diminishing marginal utility, again, give the application. Where is DMU applied? What are the limitations of DMU? Same thing holds good with your law of variable proportion as well. So talk about the applications of it, talk about the limitations of it. So this makes your answer complete. And if you're covering all these things, remember to write this in the heading, underline it well, and write all your answers point-wise. Very, very important. Nobody has the patience, nobody has the time to go through your answers if it is written in paragraphs. Make points, number those points. So that makes it look nice, and that gets full attention of the evaluator, and there is a good chance, it increases the chance of scoring 6 out of 6. So these are certain strategies which you should follow to make sure you get 6 out of 6. I hope this video was of some help to you. If you have liked the video, please hit the like button. If you are yet to follow our channel, please do subscribe for our channel. Please do leave your comments in the comment section. You might have some questions, you might have some queries, you might have some suggestions or some requests. Please leave all those things in the comment section. We shall get back to you with answers for all that. Thank you so much for watching the video.